2014 has been a great year for film. Probably, honestly, I haven't seen them all. So in the interest of full disclosure, here are some films that are apparently great that I've yet to watch. The Babadook, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Nightcrawler, Whiplash, How Do You Train Your Dragon Again, Birdman, John Wick, Paddington, and probably others that I'll eventually get to. Despite this, I have seen all the blockbusters. So right now I'm going to list my top 5 big budget films of 2014. Bear in mind that I haven't given this much thought, and if you ask me tomorrow, I'd probably give you a different list, but who cares? Let's just do this! Godzilla 2014 is considered by many to be boring and crap. Which I can understand, it certainly has a more methodical pace than many modern blockbusters. Despite this though, for me, the slow burn of it all made the big finale payoff all the more sweeter. Sure, Jonathan Taylor Thomas doesn't put in his most charismatic performance. But as film reviewer Josh Lewis said to me, and I am misquoting here, the human characters are merely the insignificant backdrop to these forces of nature just ripping across the planet. Plus it has this real sense of scale lacking from most Godzilla movies. And of course there's this bit, and that's pretty great. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is a sequel to the reboot of a franchise a few years ago that nobody had any interest in seeing. And it took everything the pretty great Rise of the Planet of the Apes did in 2011 and made it better. More convincing CGI, better human characters, spectacular fight scenes, a terrific villain, other stuff probably. I don't know, I just enjoyed it. Even watching the human characters build relationships with the apes was rewarding. Despite me knowing that the movie would end with a bonobo riding a horse whilst firing 2 machine guns at once. Can't wait for the next one, and I can't wait for Andy Serkis to never win that Oscar, but it doesn't matter because the Oscars are bullshit. Guardians of the Galaxy should probably be higher on this list because honestly, it's pretty great, and I enjoy my top 3 here pretty much equally. It's the only movie that managed to do Star Wars as well as Star Wars originally did Star Wars, with the exception of Serenity. James Gunn took a handful of virtually unknown cosmic Marvel characters, filled their roles with a group of actors you wouldn't exactly call top tier, and made the second most profitable movie of the year behind Transformers. Age of Mark Wahlberg is contractually obligated to make 2 more of these. What an idiot. Unlike that movie I just said, it deserves all the money it's made. Because it's not only funny, action-packed with a banging soundtrack, it's also quite heartfelt. So well done, Guardians of the Galaxy. I now want to see another one of you more than I want to see another Thor or Iron Man movie. Interstellar is not everyone's cup of tea. People have been having a field day picking it apart, which has now become the standard of Christopher Nolan films. Because of the reservations some have about his latest, it may be a bit of a surprise to people that it's so high on my list, but a film like this is just right up my alley. You know, this kind of serious sci-fi combined with space travel and all sorts of mind-bendy stuff. All that, of course, is anchored by the performances of the terrific cast. Yes, maybe it wraps up a little too neatly, and maybe it doesn't all add up if you think about it. Not that I believe that be the case. And maybe the walking Tetris blocks were stupid. But regardless, Interstellar is a remarkable achievement in filmmaking. And I think it's going to go the way of the likes of Blade Runner or Sunshine, as a movie that's going to be remembered more fondly than it was upon its initial release. Before I get to my number 1, here's a list of movies that I liked that didn't make it into my top 5 for whatever reason. Days of Future Past. It's a pretty good film, but it's only really got one standout moment. Gone Girl. Definitely one of my favorites of the year, but I didn't think it could be categorized as a blockbuster. Chef. For the same reasons that I said for Gone Girl. Edge of Tomorrow. The Lego Movie, which is amazing, but I think it's the only animated movie I've seen this year. Hercules. Yeah, I said Hercules. Now look, it's probably not in my top 10, but this is a pretty fun B-movie somehow. And by somehow I mean it's definitely because of The Rock. Also Snowpiercer. Blockbuster, I don't know. I'm not even sure if it counts as a movie that came out this year, but it's great. Love it. Train stuff. Good. Anyways, my number 1 pick is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Not really, though I don't hate that movie as much as a lot of people. Mrs. Brown's Boys, the movie. No, again, jokes, of course. My number 1 movie is whatever that Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore movie in Africa was. Okay, for reals. Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Steve Rogers, as I mentioned in another video, is the best Avenger, who also happens to have the best movies. Whilst a lot of these solo film sequels are like lukewarm retreads of the first, The Winter Soldier goes in a completely different direction from the first Avenger by taking this straight down the line Second World War icon and placing him in a modern day setting where everything's shrouded in shades of grey. It without a doubt has some of the best action set pieces of the year, despite many of them being small in scale, including that elevator fight. And it brings us the most menacing Marvel villain since the Red Skull. As much as I like Loki, he's not super menacing, he's more kind of charismatic. Plus, look at this guy reading a book. What a bloody nerd, mate. It's because of this that Civil War is now the Marvel movie I'm most looking forward to. I'm possibly even looking forward to it more than Batman v Superman. But it's so far away and we've seen so little of that world that it's just too early to say. So well done, Captain America the Winter Soldier. You are my favourite blockbuster of the year, which means absolutely nothing to you, I'm sure, but I don't care. You don't have to love me back. Though the occasional birthday card will be nice. Thanks everyone, and don't forget my podcast, The Weekly Planet, out Monday. We'll be looking at the best and worst movies of the year in more depth than this video, if you can believe that. That's on iTunes, or linked below. Find it there, or, whatever. Love to know though, what's your favourite movie of the year? Doesn't necessarily have to be a blockbuster, but if you like, you can leave your thoughts on that below. Alright, thanks everyone. Have a good new year.